from the choking smoke over our cities to the plastic-choked bellies of marine life. Pollution has become the silent architect of our future. It seeps into our air, our water, our food, and even our genes, reshaping the world in ways we are only beginning to understand. As we stand at a critical crossroads, the question is no longer whether pollution is changing our future, but how and what we intend to do about it. Assalamualaikum, I'm Siti Noralia binti Abiraza, and first thing first, I would like to briefly explain about the introduction of pollution. Pollution has emerged as one of the most pressing challenges of the 21st century with far-reaching consequences for environmental stability, human health, and also global development. As contaminants accumulate in our air, our water, and soil, the very systems that sustain life are being compromised. This phenomenon is not only altering ecosystem but also influencing economic, social, and political dynamics across the globe. Our topic explores the profound impact pollution is having on our planet and highlights the urgent need for sustainable solutions to secure a livable future for more generations to come.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Fazlina binti Muhammad Zainizam, and now we will focus on to the statistic pollution in Malaysia. So now we will move to air pollution first. So this data has been collected on 7 June 2025 at 7:56 p.m. So based on this data, it shows that the city have the most polluted ranking in Malaysia, which is Banting Selangor, that there has a total is 120. So for the next city has a ranking cleanest, which is Kapit Sarawak. So now we will move to the water pollution in Malaysia. So this data has been collected on 2021 at Basin River. So now the data has shown that on years 2000 until 2007, there was a steady increase in the number of clean river basins, peaking around 2006 and 2007. So, on 2008 until 2040, the sharp decline in clean river basins after 2008. From around 2010 to 2017, there has a very few to no clean river basin were recorded. On 2018 until 2021, a strong recovery trend begins in 2018. So, the number of clean river basin continued to rise sharply until 2021, where the number surpassed the previous peak.
So let's talk about the news that we have been provided for this kind of issues. Recently, in several areas in Malaysia, like Selangor, Pahang and Sabah, experienced unhealthy levels of air pollution, with air pollutant index API reading as high as 152. This rise in pollution reported on March 26 was worsened by soaring temperatures and haze, posing health risks to the general public. The prolonged exposure to polluted air can lead to people coughing, throat irritation, and difficulty breathing. Moreover, people with sickness like asthma or heart condition can be worsened, and it can increase the risk of respiratory infection. Next, we will show you the news about the plastic use that causes a water pollution.
So talk to us about the urgency of plastic pollution. What will be the consequences of not reaching an agreement at this summit? And how much longer can we afford to delay action, given there are over 20 million tons of plastic leaking into the environment each year? Production is set to triple by 2060.
The plastics is actually a bigger cause of climate crisis than aviations. We tend to talk about a lot about taking flights, but plastic has been neglected, but yet it is one of the large sector that emit greenhouse gas emissions. In fact, by 2050, some scientists say this will consume about 30% of the carbon budget, the remaining carbon budget that we can emit in order to stay within 1.5 degree target. So from that point of view, yes, the leakage is huge, but production itself is a fundamental challenge for our crisis. And of course, the plastic pollutes the environment throughout its life cycle. In the production, as I said, it produces greenhouse gas emissions. In the production of plastics, there are lots of chemicals that are being used, and there are many reports that in the production sites, environmental pollution has been observed and detected and then damaging people's health. And at the end of the life cycle, of course, many countries in the global north has been just burning it. In the global south, where the waste management is not set, it just leaks to the environment and damages biodiversity. So really, we don't have time to wait anymore, and therefore this talk has to end here.
Pollution isn't just an environmental issue, it's a human crisis, and the facts speak for themselves. Air pollution kills 7 million people every year because of the air they breathe. That's nearly the population of a major city gone every year. 2 billion people worldwide drink water contaminated with feces. This leads to deadly disease like cholera and diarrhea that claim countless lives. Our soil, our food source, is under attack. Toxic chemicals and waste are contaminating the ground, threatening food security for millions. This documentary exposes how widespread pollution leads to serious health issues like breathing problems and heart disease, and devastating environment damage such as climate change and species extinction. Experts detail how these impacts extend beyond nature, harming our societies and economies through increased healthcare costs, resource scarcity, and growing inequalities. The film also shows how pollution's reach can cause geopolitical tensions over resources and the shift to clean energy. However, the documentary offers hope, presenting solutions like clear energy, sustainable practices, and innovative technologies. Experts and activists stress the critical need for systemic change, global cooperation, and individual action to forge a healthier, more sustainable, and fairer future. In short, pollution is a major threat to our health, planet, and future stability, but the documentary offers hope by highlighting the crucial actions we can take to change course.
For the main issue, air pollution, caused mainly by vehicles, factories, and burning fossil fuels, contributes to climate change and causes millions of premature deaths annually due to respiratory and heart disease. The greenhouse gases release trap heat in the atmosphere, intensifying global warming and cause extreme weather conditions. Soil pollution results from the use of pesticides, heavy metals, and industrial waste dumping. It degrades agricultural lands, reducing food security and causing toxic exposure through the food chain, combined with plastic pollution, which has led to microplastic being found in human blood, oceans, and even rainwater. The environmental damage is deeply embedded and far-reaching. Next is noise and light pollution. It is often overlooked, disrupt wildlife, alter natural behaviors, and interfere with human sleep cycles and mental health. These forms of pollution reflect how deeply human activities are intruding into natural systems, not just visibly but also silently and persistently.
The definition of pollution. Pollution refers to the introduction of contaminants into the natural environment that cause adverse changes. These contaminants, known as pollutants, can be substances or energy, such as heat, noise, or light. Pollution can affect various environmental media including air, water, and land, and can have harmful effects on human health, wildlife, and ecosystems. Common types of pollution includes air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, noise pollution, light pollution, and plastic pollution. These can arise from various sources including industrial activities, transportation, agriculture, and waste disposal.
Pollution is all around us, often invisible, sometimes ignored, but always dangerous. Let's take a closer look at its four major forms and how they impact our world. So, for the very first pollution, which is air pollution. The very air we breathe is tainted by harmful gases, smoke, and microscopic particles. From car exhaust to industrial emissions, even wildfires, this invisible threat can cause asthma, heart disease, and premature death. Next is the water pollution. Our river, lakes, and oceans are drowning in waste, toxic chemicals, untreated sewage, and plastic debris endangered marine life and threaten the water we drink. For the last one is land and soil pollution. The ground beneath our feet isn't safe either. Particles, heavy metals, and industrial waste poison the soil, destroying ecosystem and contaminating the food we grow, air, water, and land. The foundations of our environment under threat. But awareness is the first step, and with awareness comes action.
So, for the comparison, for the first pollution is air pollution. In Malaysia, we use sources such as vehicle emissions, industrial active, and transboundary haze. So, the impact of this, it will increase in respiratory issue, reduce productivity and burden on healthcare. For example, a city like Kuala Lumpur often exceeds WHO, a quality guideline during health seasons. So, we will compare to the city like India. So they have severe urban air pollution from coal, traffic, and industrial growth. Delhi often record hazardous air quality. The impact of this, India may face chronic health crisis unless drastic measures are taken. So now we will move to the water pollution. In Malaysia, there has some issue about river pollution from factories, domestic waste, and agricultural runoff. For example, on 2019, Pasir Gudang Johor has chemical spill affect 1,000. So, it risks a long-term damage to biodiversity, fisheries, and potable water sources. Now we will compare with Bangladesh. So, the arsenic contamination is a major public health crisis. The future impact is the country like Malaysia need an urgent investment in monitoring and regulation to prevent public health. So for the last pollution is plastic waste. In Malaysia, one of the largest importers of plastic waste after China's ban in 2018. The problem is improper recycling, illegal dumping, and ocean pollution. This can give a risk to health. Also, the economy, which is tourism and fishing industry, are affect microplastic in food chains pose health risks. So we will compare to the Japan and South Korea. This country has an efficient recycling system and stricter regulation. So without the stricter regulation, Malaysia risks becoming a dumping ground and harming its international reputation.
The challenges facing our environment are vast, but the solutions are clear. Here are three powerful ways we can make a real differences. Number one is to use the 3R method, which is reduce, reuse, and recycle. It starts at home, recycling what we can, Reusing what we already have and cutting down on single-use plastics reduces waste and keeps our planet cleaner. Next, the second solution is to shift to clean energy, which is fossil fuels are choking our planet. Solar, wind and hydropower. Sustainable alternatives, and they are most accessible than ever. Supporting renewable energy means supporting in the future. And lastly, use sustainable transportation. For example, walking, biking, carpooling, or taking public transport drastically cuts down harmful emission. It's a small changes for us, but a big one for the earth.
In conclusion, pollution has become one of the most critical challenges facing on our Earth today. It affects every part of our environment, air, water, and land, and brings harmful consequences to humans, animals, and nature. If we continue to ignore this issue, the damage will become harder to fix and may lead to serious health problems, climate change, and the destruction of ecosystems. Therefore, it is our shared responsibility to take immediate action by reducing pollution, practicing recycling, conserving energy, and raising awareness about environmental protection. Together, with consistent effort and cooperation, we can help restore the beauty of our planet and ensure a cleaner, safer, and healthier world for the generations to come.
As for the summary, this documentary explains how pollution is harming our planet and affecting our health, wildlife, and climate. It shows how air, water, and land pollution come from human activities like factories, cars, and plastic waste. The film warns that if we don't act now, the damage will get worse, leading to more disease, natural disasters, and loss of biodiversity. However, this documented video also offers hope by discussing solutions like recycling and stricter environmental laws. It encourages everyone to take responsibility for protecting the earth for future generations.